Number 1. The country. My dad grew up in a farm country and had to walk a half a mile to and from the bus stop. He was the youngest of 5 and he was in his last year of elementary school while his siblings were either in middle or high school. This meant he went to the same bus stop as his siblings, but they were picked up and dropped off by the bus at different times. My grandma was a single mom who worked as a nurse and couldn't pick him up, but my aunts and uncles usually took good care of him. There was rarely trouble in my dad's county, besides small things like bar fights, poaching, or teens taking tractors out for joyrides. One day, when he was walking home on the stretch of county road on my family's property, he saw a van whiz by him. While it was private farmland and usually the gate was locked, my grandma's family usually let locals drive through as a shortcut, so my dad wasn't too alarmed. However, my dad did become a bit alarmed when he realized the van was parked a ways up the road from his uncle's house. As soon as he passed his uncle's house, the van sped up. It didn't stop until it reached the road at the bottom of the hill that led to my dad's great uncle's house. My dad looked inside the van as he passed, and he saw a gruff, bug-eyed older man. My dad said that the look in his eyes was unsettling, like an excited shark setting its sights on its prey. All of a sudden, the car stopped right in front of him. My dad innocently asked, "What are you doing on my papa's farm?" The old man got out of the car and gave my dad some spiel about how his parents had been in a car crash and my dad needed to go with him. My dad's alarm went off immediately. One single reason: his parents were divorced and his dad had lived 2 states away. His parents couldn't stand to be around each other, much less in the same car, unless it was absolutely necessary. Thinking quick, my dad asked, "Did you take my brother Ricky to the hospital already?" The old man told my dad, "Oh yeah, I picked Ricky up from school and took him home already." My dad didn't have a brother named Rick. He immediately ran towards his house, cutting across the forest to get there as fast as he could. The old man followed behind. My dad was about to give out from exhaustion when he saw the driveway to his house. He saw my grandma wasn't even home and got scared the man would try to come inside when he saw his uncle standing on the porch cleaning his favorite rifle. This struck my dad as odd because grandma had told him that Uncle Joe had been on a vacation and she hadn't seen him in months. But he didn't care, he was just happy he was there. He was a World War II vet with Willie Nelson braids and a ZZ Top beard. He was a biker who drank whiskey and smoked cigars and won plenty of bar fights. Definitely the kind of guy you don't want to mess with. When my dad ran inside quick, he didn't really look at him. He just sort of went inside and ran to his bedroom. He watched from his window as Uncle Joe put his rifle together really quick and yelled something at the van. The old man narrowed his eyes at my dad and spun around down the driveway. It took my dad a few minutes to calm down before he went back to the porch to talk to his uncle. But when he went there, he didn't see anybody anywhere around the house. When my dad's siblings and grandma came home, he told them what happened. According to my dad, grandma got whiter than a sheet and asked my dad if he was sure it was his uncle. Sure, he was even wearing the new motorcycle jacket Mama got him for his birthday. Grandma didn't say anything for a few hours. That night after dinner, my grandmother explained to my dad that Uncle Joe had died in a motorcycle crash a few months earlier in Florida, and that they buried him in those exact same clothes. My dad explained to her that he was cleaning his rifle, the one that he apparently kept under lock and key in Grandma's basement. When he died, they couldn't find the keys anywhere, so the case remained locked. The scariest part When my grandmother went to check the case, it was unlocked and unlatched. Number 2. The backyard. The year is 2010, and I had recently left school. After getting some odd jobs, I finally settled on a career in security, and I still work as a security guard to this day. Working as a security guard, I work nights because I'm a night owl, and this all comes into play in this story. Fast forward 2 years to 2012. By this time, my dad had moved to Florida from my home state, Indiana, and I moved with him. There was a point where I was traveling back and forth between states every 6 months. Well, this event happens on one of the trips where I was in Florida. My plane landed at 7 p.m. and I got to my dad's house around 8 p.m. since he lived about an hour away from the airport. Being the night owl that I am, it was pretty early for me, and I had been up maybe 2 hours. After I had settled in, their dog Zoe was laying on the couch in the living room, where she spent most of her time. The back door didn't have a screen, it was only secured by a door lock, and it had a set of blinds that rattled every time the door moved. At this point, my dad had gone to bed and my mother was with her friends, so I basically had the house all to myself. My dad being a former Marine, his hearing's not all that good, so I don't have to keep the noise down. So the incident happened around 1 a.m. I had just finished installing World of Warcraft on my PC and was chatting with some friends to pass the night away. As I'm about to get up and use the bathroom, I hear the door blinds rattle and I think to myself, Zoe must have seen an animal. After I was done, I sat back down when I heard the blinds rattle again, but this time I heard Zoe bark. But this was a defensive bark, and this was followed by the door closing. Nervously, I instantly get up to check it out. As I enter the living room, I look over on the couch and Zoe is nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, I heard her barking again, but this time the sound coming from the outside. So I went to the back door and turned the knob. Right in front of me was a tall man. I nearly shit myself from shock. At that same moment, he tries to punch in the door, but I slam it right in time. The sound of the slamming door was so loud my dad even hears it and rushes out of the room. By this time, I had my raptor knife ready to kill, but he took off. The cause for him coming to our house is still unknown. Thanks guys, please share, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And remember, never forget to lock your doors.